Did you know that Tata Motors was started as a locomotive manufacturer in 1945? So was it a revenge story? So what's going on in the Indian automobile industry? Why did Tata Motors buy Jaguar and Land Rover for a whopping $2.3 billion? Do you know the biggest risk of automobile industry today? Do you know what is FAME India policy? When most people talk about Sir Ratan Tata, their mind revolves around the incredible journey and achievements throughout his life in Tata Motors. But among all the incredible achievements, there is one thing which people go crazy about is the acquisition of Jaguar and Land Rover. Many refer to this acquisition as a compelling tale of revenge. Though it might or might not be the story of revenge, one thing is true. Jaguar and Land Rover is changing the landscape of Tata Motors. Tata Motors has become household name today with some very successful cars which we can spot on our Indian roads very often. But today in this video, I'll not just talk about the Jaguar and Land Rover or not just about the cars business, but I'll talk about the complete business of Tata Motors. In this video of A to Z stock analysis, we'll completely analyze the Tata Motors. Tata Motors is an Indian global automobile manufacturer with an extensive portfolio encompassing cars, buses, utility vehicles, and trucks. Did you know that Tata Motors was started as a locomotive manufacturer in 1945 and fast forward to today, it is the global leader in automobile industry. From locomotives to leading EV market, Tata Motors has revolutionized the Indian mobility. In 1954, they teamed up with Daimler-Benz to produce Mercedes-Benz vehicles in India. Imagine seeing a Mercedes for the first time on Indian roads. There are 5 business segments in which Tata Motors operates: commercial vehicles, passenger vehicles, electric vehicles, Jaguar and Land Rover, and Tata Motor Finance. Tata Motors is India's largest commercial vehicle manufacturer with the widest product and service portfolio across cargo and passenger mobility segments. Tata Motors is also the third largest player in Indian passenger vehicle space. Their passenger vehicles offering includes various body styles and powertrains options of petrol, diesel, and CNG. They are the largest player in Indian EV space. In less than 4 years, sales have grown approximately to 50,000 vehicles as of FY23 report. And with the acquisition of Jaguar and Land Rover, they also entered into the premium vehicle segment. But any stock analysis is incomplete without understanding the industry landscape in which they operate. So what's going on in the Indian automobile industry? Well, it looks like the industry is no longer just about cars, it's a barometer for economic health and technological progress. The Indian automobile industry has historically been a good indicator of how well the economy is doing. If the income of people rises, it will impact on the sales of the automobiles. The Indian passenger car market was valued at $32.7 billion in 2021 and it is expected to reach a value of $54.84 billion by 2027 while registering a CAGR of 9% between 2022 and 2027. According to the Ministry of Heavy Industries, the contribution of this sector to the national GDP has risen to about 7.1% now from 2.77% in 1992 to 1993. This sector provides direct and indirect employment to nearly 19 million people. In terms of global manufacturing, India stands as the second largest producer of two-wheelers, 7th largest in commercial vehicles, and 6th largest in passenger vehicles. With the Indian passenger market expected to grow to $58.84 billion by 2027, Tata Motors is all set to pace up the progress. Tata Motors is gearing up for a promising future. Let us break down the revenue of Tata Motors. The consolidated revenue of Tata Motors is 3,45,967 crores, of which commercial vehicles contribute to 70,816 crores, passenger vehicle contributes 47,868 crores, Jaguar and Land Rover being the highest contributor, nearly 2,22,860 crores, and financing operations is nearly 4,595 crores. But if we look at the geography-wise revenue breakdown, it is as follows. The company has presence in several foreign countries as well. North America amounts to 54,766 crores, Europe generates about 42,731 crores, UK contributes 33,141 crores, India being the largest market contributes 1,14,091 crores and China 47,368 crores. Now that we have understood the expanse of Tata Motors business, it's time for us to understand the risks and strengths of the business. Let's start with the strengths of the company. First strength of the company, diverse product portfolio. Tata Motors has a diverse product portfolio encompassing from buses, electric vehicles, utility vehicles, and trucks. This diversification of business and revenue from the different segments helping the company grow. Over 140 products and 700 new variants were introduced in the financial year FY24. So when a company diversifies its business, there is a higher chance of increasing its revenues. Moving to the second important point, which is research and development. Tata Motors has increased its spending on R&D as the company is focusing on extending the product portfolio of electric vehicles. Tata Motors has spent nearly 29,398 crores on the financial year ended March 31st, 2024 on R&D activities. The company also spent money in the areas such as wireless battery management systems, wireless charging of high voltage batteries, and the development of vehicle control strategies to improve EV efficiency. All these efforts have begun yielding results with 333 patents granted in the financial year FY24. Additionally, the company has filed 145 design applications. Jaguar and Land Rover has also made substantial progress, securing 337 patents and 279 design applications. Moving to the third important point, which is strong brand. Tata is most reputed and respected brand across the globe. Tata's long-standing history and legacy gives them the extra credibility and stability. Moving to the next important strength of the company. Large customer base. Passenger vehicle sales in India set a record in FY24 with over 4.2 million units sold, driven by SUVs, out of which 50% of overall sales. The clientele data can provide Tata Motors with insights on customer behavior, preferences, and trends. This insight is invaluable for making informed strategic decisions, improving the customer experience, and implementing the targeted marketing campaigns. Now let's discuss the fifth important point of the company, which is the acquisition of Jaguar and Land Rover. Why did Tata Motors buy Jaguar and Land Rover for a whopping $2.3 billion? Back in 1999, Tata Motors has launched Tata Indica, India's first indigenous car. A dream project of Ratan Tata's, the Tata Indica however failed to take off. Due to low sales, Tata Motors decided to sell off its car business within a year of its debut. Ratan Tata approached Ford to sell Tata Motors passenger car division, but Ford executives mocked Tata, asking him if he knew anything about the passenger car business. Feeling humiliated, Ratan Tata returned to India without selling his business. That moment sparked a determination within him. However, there is more to it. In 2007, Ford decided to sell JLR because they needed to focus on their core business and stabilize financially. So they started the hunt for buyer, attracting private equity firms and global investors. Amidst the contenders, Tata Motors stood out. But why Tata? Their vision, strategy, and global ambitions made them the perfect fit. The deal included everything: JLR's manufacturing plants, intellectual property rights, and extensive sales network. This wasn't just about a purchase, it was a strategic masterstroke. This acquisition didn't just add the luxury to its portfolio, but also changed the landscape of Tata Motors. So was it a revenge story? No, that's the strategic brilliance of Ratan Tata. So far, Tata Motors seemed to be an incredible company, right? However, there is also another side of the coin. This is where we need to focus on the risks of the company. As an investor, it is very important for you to understand the risk as how you understand the strengths. Supply chain disruptions, semiconductor shortages, geopolitical tensions. Tata Motors faces it all. So first risk of the company, supply chain disruptions. Supply chain disruptions can severely impact the business by causing production delays, increasing costs, compromising quality, and affecting sales. Disruption in logistics such as port congestion, shipping delays, or transportation strikes can impede the timely delivery of raw materials and finished products. Geopolitical risks. The company is exposed to several geopolitical risks owing to its diversified geographic presence. Freight charges keep varying based on the geopolitical issues. So this is one of the important risks which the company may face. Moving to the very important risk of the company, which is semiconductor shortage. Do you know the biggest risk of automobile industry today? It's semiconductors. In cars, semiconductors are everywhere. From microcontrollers and sensors to electric control units and power management ICs. They are the heart and brain of the modern vehicles. A semiconductor has an electrical conductivity value between a conductor and an insulator. They conduct electricity under certain conditions, making them crucial for controlling electrical signals. India depends entirely on imports for semiconductors from countries like China, Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan, and the US. We spent a staggering $2.38 billion for the import of semiconductors in order to meet our requirements in 2022. This heavy dependence brings significant risks, from supply chain vulnerabilities to cybersecurity threats and integration challenges. The automotive sector is at the mercy of availability of semiconductors. Without a stable semiconductor supply, the automobile sector looks uncertain in the future. We need sustainable solutions to safeguard this particular sector. Tata Motors is also at a risk due to this semiconductor shortage. Now let's move on to the financials of the company. Tata Motors seem to be on the road to recovery with sales growth and profit improvement. However, investors should be aware of potential risks and constantly monitor performance and market conditions. If the company continues to manage its costs effectively and capitalize on growth opportunities, it could present a strong investment opportunity. And as usual, we'll focus on the shareholding pattern, as we already do in the earlier videos. If we look at the shareholding patterns of the company, Tata Motors shareholding trends tells an engaging story. With promoters and institutional investors steadily increasing their stakes, there is a clear vote of confidence in the company's future. The rise in retail shareholder reflects growing public interest and excitement. This shift not only underscores Tata Motors' strategic appeal but also positions it as a company to watch closely in the market. So, what could be the significant growth triggers for the company going forward? First, let's start with FAME policy. Do you know what is FAME India policy? FAME stands for Faster Adoption and Manufacturing of Electric and Hybrid Vehicles in India. FAME India is an incentive scheme that encourages the adoption of electric and hybrid vehicles. Phase 2 of FAME was implemented by Ministry of Heavy Industries for a period of 5 years, commencing on April 1st, 2019, with a total budget of 10,000 crores. This phase mainly focused on supporting the electrification of public and shared transportation and aims to support through demand incentives. The scheme covers 7,090 e-buses, 5 lakh electric 3-wheelers, 55,000 electric 4-wheelers and 10 lakh electric 2-wheelers. In addition, the creation of charging infrastructure is also supported under this scheme. The second important growth trigger of the company is PLI scheme. The government approved the production linked incentive scheme for the automobile manufacturers with a budget outlay of 25,938 crores to support domestic vehicle manufacturers. It was launched on 15 September of 2021 and under this scheme, electric vehicles are also covered. The third important growth trigger of the company is growing income levels. Rising income levels will boost the demand for automobiles due to an increase in the purchasing power of people. With rising incomes, people aspire to improve their quality of life and owning a car is often seen as a status symbol and a significant lifestyle upgrade. And one more important growth trigger of the company is growing demand for electric vehicles. The demand for EV is on the uptrend. The global EV market was estimated at approximately $250 billion in 2021 and by 2028, it is projected to grow by 5 times to $1,318 billion. The last important growth trigger is after sales revenue. The record sales of Tata Motors will also bolster the growth of revenue coming from the after sales revenue. Now it's time for us to understand the ESG section, which is environmental social governance. First, let's focus on the environmental section. Tata Motors has set a target to become net zero in passenger vehicle segment by 2040 and in the commercial vehicle segment by 2045. Tata Motors is also planning to run on 100% renewable electricity by 2030. Tata Motors has launched the Pro-Life program, which will benefit all the Tata Motor car owners. If you are one among them, this is for you. The Pro-Life program is to extend the life of vehicle components such as clutch plates, discs and cabins. This initiative involves remanufacturing of these components as good as new but at a fraction of the original cost. Additionally, using these remanufactured parts improves fuel efficiency by 5 to 10% compared to the older products. So this is a good news for all the owners who are using Tata cars. And by the way, if you are owning any other company car, tell me, is there any this kind of initiative with your company? Moving on to the next section of ESG, which is social. Tata Motors has appointed Anuradha Das as its first Chief Diversity Officer to enhance its diversity and inclusion. As per FY23 report, a total of 4,987 women were employed by the company. The company is taking actions to have a 30% workforce by 2030. There are 3 more good social programs conducted by the Tata Motors. First one is Pragati program. Pragati is a higher education initiative by Tata Motors. Aragya program is a health initiative program and it spent nearly 3.8 crores on it. And Kaushalya program is a skill development program. So these are the social activities done by the Tata Motors in the current financial years. Moving to the last section of ESG, which is governance section. 67% of the board is comprised of the independent directors. And there is one important thing that we need to focus on this governance section, which is Singur land acquisition issue. In 2006, Tata Motors acquired land in Singur, West Bengal to build a plant for the nano car project. This acquisition led to widespread protests and legal challenges headed by Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress, which argued that the land acquisition was forced and unfair to local farmers. Due to the intense opposition, Tata Motors decided to relocate their plant to Sanand, Gujarat in 2008. In 2016, Supreme Court of India ruled that the land acquisition by West Bengal government was illegal and ordered the return of land to the farmers. Following this, Tata Motors sought compensation for the losses incurred due to the stalled project and relocation costs. A 3-member arbitral tribunal awarded Tata Motors 765 crores plus interest for the losses. Additionally, Tata Motors faced allegations in 2021 that the company coerced its dealers to offtake vehicles according to the company's demand. This case was closed by the Competition Commission of India in 2023. Coming to the conclusion, despite supply chain disruptions and semiconductor shortages, the company has maintained robust financial performance and also reduced its financial burden by reducing its debt. This dual focus of maintaining stable financials and increasing its product portfolio, Tata Motors is all set to capitalize on the future opportunities in the global market. If you liked the video, please share it to your friends and family members. And if you found it really valuable, please leave a comment. Thank you. Thank you for watching the video. See you in the next A to Z stock analysis.